Let's get a deeper understanding of what happened in Plateau with the mining incident. The Vice President, Medical Initiative for Africa, Dr. Agwe Buta, joins us now on the news at 7. Dr. Buta, for our viewers who may not know, explain how carbon monoxide really affects the human body and why it's particularly deadly in enclosed spaces like an underground mine.
Okay, thank you for having me. It's a really unfortunate situation. So carbon monoxide is a absolutely deadly gas. It is tasteless, it is odorless, and it creates a lot of metabolic abnormalities. It's very inhalable. So patients who inhale it, I can tell you that in this particular situation, the miners had no inkling that they were inhaling any abnormal air because it was odorless, and once it gains entrance into the body, it displaces oxygen from the red blood cells. So we all know that red blood cells carry oxygen to supply every other part of the body and takes out the waste. But once carbon monoxide gets into the body, it would displace that oxygen, bind very tightly. In fact, it binds 200 times more tightly to the red blood cell hemoglobin component compared to oxygen. And once that happens, it reduces the capacity of the red cell to transport oxygen. And that means that no oxygen supply to your cells. So it knocks out metabolism in every part of the body, from brain swelling to lung swelling to all kinds of symptoms. So patients do not know that this is happening. They only notice that things are changing, from things like headache, weakness, nausea, they feel like vomiting. Some patients actually vomit, and some get very, very confused, because imagine shutting down 50% of oxygen supply to the brain. You can get confused. Some even have convulsions, and occasionally it can even lead to coma. And depending on the concentration of the carbon monoxide, some patients can die within 10 to 15 minutes. And if it's not as concentrated, as much as maybe 6,000, 7,000 parts per million of air, it can happen within a stretched period of time to as much as 8 hours. So if it's less than 6,000, and in the region of 2,000 to 3,000.
I know we've covered similar stories of persons even dying from carbon monoxide buildup from generators in their own homes. But once miners are exposed to carbon monoxide, what immediate medical interventions are necessary, and how do you think states like the Plateau can build or increase the capacity to handle such emergencies more effectively?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Most patients with carbon monoxide poisoning are from generators, where people put their generators in within their houses for security reasons, and they inhale this tasteless and odorless gas. But in the case of these miners, I mean, this happened deep below the surface below the surface. And oxygen oxygen concentration, ventilation is challenged, meaning that this was an accident that was waiting to happen if certain measures were not taken. People who are mining to a large extent use explosive agents to drill their way through to the agents that they are trying to acquire. And some of these explosive agents, when they're born in the absence of oxygen, the byproduct is carbon monoxide instead of carbon dioxide. So carbon monoxide only contains only one oxygen molecule, as compared to the monoxide dioxide, which contains two oxygen molecules and is safer. So you must be able to ensure that at that level, if you are conducting such activities, ventilation must be significantly, measures to ensure good ventilation must be put in place, measures to ensure that there's satisfactory air extraction for damp air after damp air extraction, which contains high level of carbon monoxide. And you must have what you call carbon monoxide meters. This would detect the concentration of carbon monoxide so that we know when the levels are not safe. Administrative measures have to be in place. In fact, when you are detonating or inducing explosions, the miners need to leave that area to a safe area. And while they are there, tests must be conducted to confirm that the carbon monoxide level have dropped to a safe level before they can return there. Within those mining caves and crevices, you must create what you call safe areas. Safe areas are areas where, in case of detection of high carbon monoxide in the inhaled air, the miners can retreat to those areas where they can assess high concentration of oxygen in cylinders, 100% oxygen. You must have an emergency evacuation plan in place, and this emergency evacuation plan must be easily accessible, clearly communicated to the miners, who must have a protocol on what to do
All right.
if this situation emerges.
Good place to leave it. VP Medical Initiative for Africa, Dr. Agba Buta, thank you so much for your insight tonight.
Thank you.